All right, we got some breaking news as Karoline Leavitt is answering questions at the White House podium, trying to blame anything and everything else for the mass shooting that happened yesterday. It's been discovered that she's posting conspiracy theories about why this happened, relating to, I'm serious right now, I'm serious, demonic possession. That's where we are in this country. The press secretary posting about demonic possession, because they want to focus on anything and everything else other than the fact that the guns are the problem. And here she is trying to blame this on trans people.
I've seen a lot of calls for action, among these lawmakers saying that we shouldn't just be praying. One that I've seen on the right, actually, is calls for the FBI to institute a new class of domestic terrorism that involves trans ideology. Is that something that the administration would support?
I would have to check with the appropriate people on that.
Not say no. And by the way, it's literally littered on X, which is a right-wing hellhole where they are trying to blame this on trans people. And we all know that, one, trans people make up the smallest percentage of the population. I think it's like 0.6% of the population. And I believe 40% to 60% of the mass shootings that happen in this country are done by who? You're not going to be surprised by this. White males. White males. So maybe if we're going to start to demonize a group, we should start at the one causing the most damage. Just a thought. Now, she was also asked about antidepressants and their role in mass shootings. Again, looking everywhere but the obvious answer, which is we've got too many guns.
The first one, this is the second shooting involving a trans-identifying shooter who specifically targeted Christians and Catholic kids. What kind of consequences do the gender-affirming therapists, doctors, or even the parents of these shooters face after these types of shootings?
Well, as for the parents and potential therapists in this case, again, all of that is still currently being investigated by the FBI. I know the Secretary of Health and Human Services this morning said that HHS is investigating perhaps links between some of these drugs and these prescription drugs that some of these minors may be taking and an increase in violence. And obviously we have mental health problems in this country that this administration and Secretary Kennedy will continue to speak out about in the work that we're doing to solve.
RFK Jr., who she mentioned is the Health and Human Services Secretary, said this, truly looking like a madman on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, saying that they're putting 5G into our data to harvest and control our behavior. This is the person she's talking about, making an assessment about whether or not people should take psychiatric medication.
5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior.
That's the person they want to determine whether or not psychiatric medication is impacting us and causing mass shootings. Now, I'm not a defender of the medical industrial complex at all. I kind of think a for-profit system always becomes immoral unless there are huge guardrails in place, which we do not have in this country. But I will tell you that a conspiracy theorist trying to solve for problems that don't exist isn't going to help anyone. Okay. Now, she was also asked about what the administration is going to do for concerned parents who are worried about their kids' safety. Let me know what you think about this.
Iris.
Thank you, Karoline. Two questions on the shooting. What's the administration's message to some concerned parents across the country who might be now worried about their kids' safety in light of the latest incident?
We completely and totally understand the concerns of parents across the country. This tragedy it's heartbreaking. As a parent myself, there are no words to describe just the heartbreak that these families must be enduring, which is why the President and the First Lady have encouraged everyone to continue to pray for these families and these victims. And it's why this administration is focused on removing public safety threats from our communities. And in fact, I can share with all of you that last night in Washington, D.C., when arrests were being made, there was an arrest of a juvenile right here in D.C. in Ward 7 for threats to kidnap and injure, receiving stolen property, possession of a large
Whoa, what a shitty pivot. So to parents who are concerned about your child being shot up in school, President Trump and Melania are going to pray for you. And by the way, they arrested some random kid in DC so you can feel safer. Now, Jen Psaki said this about the fact that they are just talking about prayers. And she said, prayers not enough. Prayers do not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayers do not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. Totally agree. I think prayer has a point in time. And I listen, I pray every day. You may not know this. I pray every day. I don't know what to, but I do pray. I think it's helpful. It works for me. Maybe not for you. It works for me. I do believe there's something greater out there. Now, there is also the saying that faith without works is dead. So prayer without action is really just trying to make a wish. And wishing is magic. And I don't believe in magic. I believe in action. So yes, prayer is helpful, but it cannot be enough. We are physical people with physical bodies. We can make physical changes in our country and in our lives. Praying without anything else is just making a wish on a star, which doesn't help anyone. Now, to that, Karoline Leavitt was very upset. She was very upset that Jen Psaki would make the point that literally every other major spiritual leader has said, that praying without action doesn't do much.
I have two questions for you.
Sure.
Democrats, including former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Bray, attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
It's crazy. There's just propagandist reporters at the White House now. But did that sound like attacking prayer? It just was about saying that prayer is not enough. It's not attacking prayer.
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than.
Ugh. All right, now let's talk about this demonic possession, because talk about making a fucking joke out of this whole situation. The right has been saying now that sometimes the existence of demons is one of the best proofs of the existence of God and true of Christianity. This is one of those moments. Translation of shooters drawing below. Who, this is all in Russian, who, when will descend, help me, I don't want to help. And then it says to, do this to yourself. Okay. Benny Johnson, who has reporters of his own at the White House briefing room now. That's probably making you feel really good. He said very simply, hey guys, it's demonic possession. Their shooter told us. Well, the press secretary apparently agreed, because this is her page right now. Karoline Leavitt, let's click into it. Karoline Leavitt, 2.3 million followers. She posted this. Let's go into it. All right, pray for Annunciation Catholic School. And then the second page here, this is demonic force moving when a transgender maniac sprays bullets at pews of Catholic school children. Shame on the progressive leaders and lawmakers. I'm not going to read all of this, but they call it demonic possession. This shit has to end, everyone. This is not normal to be spreading conspiracy theories like this. Families are in mourning. This person was deranged, mentally ill, and clearly needed help. Now, we have defunded much of the programs in place that help people who can't afford to help themselves. And I just think that if you are interested in making this problem go away, one, make it so weapons of war are just hard to get. Maybe ban them. Do a buyback program. Two, make it possible so that people who do suffer from mental illness can get help easily. And we can so easily do that with the government. If we can build an alligator Alcatraz for, $500,000, we can invest in our communities to help make sure that mental health is actually taken care of. We can invest, we can create laws that prevent tragedies like this from happening again. The thing is, though, they don't want it to stop. They don't care. They just hope and pray it'll move on until the next time it's time to hope and pray. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.